Relax, don't fear the gaps. I think this is something I have to say before the video. The same way we used to say these are just ramblings at the end of the blog. So today's topic is the direct method, and I think you might, if you're following closely, you would have noticed that the YouTube channel name now includes a direct method. So, what is this direct method? Um, let's not start there though. Let's start by talking about movies. So, I don't know if you've seen this movie, you must have seen this. It's a very well known movie called The Matrix. So, the reason that this Matrix was such a super hit movie was because it tapped into the subconscious process that all of us have. And the subconscious process is, what is the whole? What is this thing? What is this thing that I keep waking up into and falling asleep into every night? And then I keep running around and it one day ends. What is it supposed to be? And so the Matrix answered this question in a science fiction type of way, where it tells you that uh, the entire world is a simulation and you are in this simulation, and but the day you come out of it, you realize that it was all false. And in that way, the Matrix was a metaphor for life itself. And because on some level we all feel this metaphor, that's why it was a super hit movie. Now, there was another movie which was not such a big super hit movie, but I don't know, I guess it did well. It was called The Maze Runner. In The Maze Runner, the idea is that these boys, they tend to wake up into a clearing and they are surrounded by a maze, and so they cannot escape the clearing, and they cannot conquer the maze either. I don't know what the original intent of the makers of the Maze Runner were, um, but this is also a very nice metaphor. Maybe it is not as relatable as the Matrix, but it is also a fairly relatable metaphor, in which, if you consider that the maze is your mind, and you just wake up into these circumstances, and your mind is always on, and your mind is always doing something, and your mind is always telling you things, and your mind always knows what is right and what is wrong. And the idea is, in a way, maybe to conquer your mind. So, in this way, if you consider the mind to be a maze, and that your objective is in some kind of way to conquer this maze, one of the things you will find is, when you're getting close to conquering this maze, you will find that the way to conquer the maze is not really through the maze, it's not really running around in the maze, but it's more like being up in a tree somewhere here, in which you are somewhat above the maze and you can see the entire maze, and that is the way that the maze is conquered. Of course, the great challenge in this whole thing is that you can only know this when the day you get close to conquering, or the day you actually conquer the maze. Until you have done this, you are very much in the middle of the maze. And so, if we were to consider this maze as a metaphor for the mind, or if we were to consider that your mind is a maze, you will always find that you wake up at a random point inside the maze. Maybe you wake up somewhere here, Uh, Maybe you're a religious person, you wake up somewhere here. You're a scientific person, you wake up somewhere here. But we are all at different areas inside the maze. But of course, the day you conquer the maze, you are above here in the tree. And so you can sort of see where you are in this entire maze. And so if you are above here in the maze and you can see the whole maze, then you can connect to every part of the maze, which is another way of saying you can connect to every human being in this world also, because you are above the maze. And so this is what is called the direct method, that you can connect here, or 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 wherever you wish. This is called the direct method, or this is at least what I call the direct method. What is the value of this method? The value is, again, like I said in the previous set of videos, the value is to distinguish between information, misinformation, and disinformation. So if you wish to distinguish between these three things, the direct method is a very useful thing. Of course, it takes a little bit of practice and you have to kind of conquer the maze in a way. But once you have done this, then you are available to this direct method. In some of my books, I've been using this direct method. And so, for example, in this book, the Hinduism Revisited book, the direct method is used. In the Book of Death, the direct method is used. In both these books, the direct method is used because the subject is so complicated that you cannot get out of it. The only way to get out of it is to be away from it, is to start from a point of ignorance. And so the direct method always starts from a point of ignorance and makes the assumption that if there is any real information in this world, you will of course discover it once again. And if there is misinformation or disinformation, you can safely avoid that. So that is what direct method means to me, and that is what direct method is being referred to in the name of the channel now, which says Common Sense with Dr. Kumar, a direct method. And so yeah, just wanted to introduce what this direct method means, and I wanted to touch upon what the value of this entire direct method business is, because if you are in any way ever going to approach the mind as a maze in which you are going to conquer the maze, or you are going to approach life as the matrix and you want to crack the matrix, you will notice that this direct method is very useful. I'm more like Morpheus. See, we even look the same. Bald guy, glasses. So that's the meaning of direct method. Everything is very clearly articulated, very clearly scientific. You can make sense of it all. And yes, you need to follow certain paths of ignorance to get there.